We will study about the sort of an adverb in this class. Commonly, the adverb has the form converted from the verb and adjective with the suffix because the adverb originates from the descriptive word, same as the verb and the adjective. There is an example with the three descriptive words. The first one is a verb, agree. The second one is an adverb, agreeable. The third one is an adverb, agreeably. The adjective agreeable conveys the definition with the form of the verb agree and another adjective able as a suffix used for an object that is acceptable or favorable. The adverb agreeably conveys the definition with the form of the adjective agreeable converted to get the form of the suffix ly for an experience, a condition, or an action that is favorable and acceptable to the speaker. Basically, we can identify an adverb with the form that the suffix ly is added. But this is not the absolute way to identify an adverb in a clause. Because the adjective with the suffix ly exists. The adjective friendly is the example. But still, we can identify an adverb with the suffix ly, whose definition can be understood and interpreted in the extended specification for the other description. The information about the trait as an adverb revealed from the identification for the suffix ly that is added to the body of the adverb may be helpful to identify an adverb in a clause. We can infer the definition of the adverb agreeably from the form of the verb included in the adverb, agree, and we can also infer the definition of the adverb from the definition of the adjective agreeable, even though the letter E is excluded, but we can still guess the correlation between the definition of the adverb agreeably and the definition of the adjective agreeable from the fact that the body of the descriptive word agree is included and shared in each descriptive word. The listeners can discern an adjective to describe a subject or an object, and an adverb to describe the other description. By a verb, a determiner, an adjective, or the other adverb. From now on, we will study about an adverb. We will study about a present participle and a past participle as the first and the second sort of an adverb. The other sort of the adverb besides the adverb originated from an adjective with the suffix are listed below. The first and second adverbs are these. The present and the past participle applied in a clause to describe the definition of the verb in the progressive tense and the perfect tense. The present participle as a descriptive word can be applied as an adjective or an adverb. The form of the present participle can be applied as an indication whose term is a gerund. So we can understand that a gerund as an indication, a present participle as an adjective or an adverb have the same form, that is a body that has the same form as a verb, and the suffix ing. We can understand that the present participle refers to a form of a descriptive word, and the form of the word, a verb, and the suffix ing reveals the information that the experience, condition, or action described by the verb, that is the body of the gerund as an indication, or the present participle as the description with the suffix ing lasts during a period. The past participle also refers to a form of a descriptive word as an adverb or an adjective. In the clause stated in the perfect tense, the past participle as an adverb specifies the definition of the intransitive verb have or has to reveal how the experience of the subject is, and the past participle applied as an adverb in the clause stated in the perfect tense reveals that the subject is the time receiver, because the experience can be discussed on the premise that the experience lasts during a period. The third sort of the adverb is a to infinitive. The to infinitive to describe the purpose, the reason, and the effect of an experience, a condition, or an action actualizing with the trait of the adverb. The combination of the preposition to and the object of the preposition to that is indicated by a root infinitive is applied to reveal the purpose of the subject of the preposition to. The purpose of the subject is additional. For the subject of the preposition to, this can be understood from the fact that we understand the definition of a verb with an experience, a condition, or an action. So dealing with a purpose of a subject can be included in the range of the description by an adverb. This is the description focusing on the meaning of the combination of the preposition to and the object of the preposition to, that is the root infinitive. We can understand that the to infinitive is applied as an indication with a trait of a noun or a description with a trait as an adjective or with a trait as an adverb. The forms of the gerund and present participle reveal that the experience, condition, or action lasts during a period. The form of the to infinitive reveals that the experience, condition, or action described by the root infinitive is the purpose of the subject of the preposition to as the tentative actualization. We can understand that the forms of a gerund or a present participle and a to infinitive reveal its own information about the time related to the actualization of the experience, condition, or action. The fourth sort of the adverb is a modal verb. The modal verb to complement its own definition for the definition of the verb to be accorded with the intention of the speaker. We can understand that the modal verb is also applied to describe a verb so that a modal verb and a verb can form a phrase of a verb in a clause. The definition of the modal verb is applied to emphasize the definition of the verb or reveal that the definition of the verb is assumed by the speaker. The roles of a modal verb can be applied to reveal the information about tense instead of the verb and the information about the number of the subject and whether the subject participates in the conversation with the speaker and the listeners at the present. The fifth sort of the adverb is a preposition. The preposition to mediate the subject-object relationship, transiting the definition of the preposition from the subject to the object. Can be understood similar to the description by the transitive verb for the subject, because the transitive verb and the preposition mediate the subject-object relationship. There is a difference. The difference between the transitive verb and the preposition is that the definition of the transitive verb can be actualized with a time gap between the present and a specific point in time when the definition of the verb, the transitive verb, actualizes. The definition of the preposition to mediate the subject and the object is concurrent, as the definition of the verb is actualized. So we can understand that the mediation by the preposition for the subject and the object is reliant on the actualization of the definition of the verb applied in the clause. For example, there is a clause, I attach this on the screen. The speaker, as the subject, actualizes the action described by the transitive verb attach. And the definition of the transitive verb attach is delivered to this mouse, indicated by the indicative pronoun this. And the definition of the preposition on starts from this as the subject of the preposition on, and the definition of the preposition on is delivered to the screen. At the same time, when the speaker as the subject actualizes the definition of the transitive verb attach, we can understand the concurrency between the definition of the transitive verb attach and the preposition on.